What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Tang Talks. I'm your host and your historian, Francis Butches, and as always, I'm joined by my co-historian,
Ruben Aquino, aka Francis's co-historian, aka Ruben Aquino, and we are joined by the late and great. Late and great? Does that mean they're
not
dead?
yo.
We are joined by a few of the past presidents of our Filipino American Student Association here at UMBC. We're here with Mark.
Hi, I'm Mark.
We're here with Dan.
Hey, I'm Dan.
And we're here with Raph.
Hi, I'm Raph.
I mean, outside of FASA, you guys are like kind of done with school now. Well, you guys are. You're going through nursing school right now, but like,
It's okay. Last semester though, so I'm about to graduate.
Woo!
But like, outside of like, now that you guys are outside FASA, how you guys been like with work, past like alumni life?
How do we do this? Do we go?
You
down
should
the
go first
line?
because you're the furthest one.
What do you mean furthest
You
one?
graduated.
What? Oh, I mean, yeah. So graduated 2022 last semester, and now I'm kind of just chilling. Like, I have a post bac right now, so I'm doing that, gaining experience and like research and all that, and then taking the next step and applying to grad schools. And so school's not out of the picture yet. Like, there's definitely still school, but undergrad's done. So all right, you talk, nurse.
Not even a nurse yet.
Pre-nurse.
I'm basically almost done. I just gotta finish this last semester and then take my NCLEX, and then that's it.
What's an NCLEX?
The board exam for a nurse. Mhm.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, I heard that's.
Stop. Don't say anything because I
Okay,
know
I'm
it's
sorry,
hard.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
He
please.
knows he's hard. Me, I graduated high school in 2019, and yeah, I was the president of FASA last year, and I decided that school did not have a good enough return on investment for me, and found myself pursuing other things. Right now, I'm working full time and trying to find a better job, to be honest. But God willing, we'll figure it out.
What about you guys? what are you guys up to?
I mean, a lot of FASA events. Recently, we just had a AKA reveal.
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
I mean, hopefully everyone like got the littles they want, got the bigs they want. Wu-Tang grew like 2 times.
Marcos is better.
You guys experienced FASA during COVID years, and so
Damn.
like
Thanks for the reminder.
Forgot about
like
that.
for like the newer people like in FASA, how was it? Was it you, Dan, that was president, or was it Raph?
It was me
Was
for half a year, so 1 semester, and then I transferred out, and then Dan became president
then
after me.
Picked up his slack.
So like, how was it? And you were part of board, right? So how was it like as part of e-board during COVID years? How did you guys like overcome that challenge?
We didn't. I'm gonna be honest, we
was-
did not. I
Like,
don't
how
think
did you
we-
like try
So-
to go over that? Like,
So it was definitely hard because I mean, how do you connect with people to like bring them all together in
mhm.
like a Discord call,
Yeah.
or at the time I think we did a Zoom call to have people turn on their cameras. But the fact that you're at home and like in your private space kind of area, it was definitely hard to like get that going. And also like the ideas of events was very minimal. It's like, oh, a
Mhm.
movie night, 0 interaction between people. Oh, we do Among
night.
Us. But in Among Us, no one talks to each other because they're too busy playing Among Us.
Yeah.
So it's like 0 interaction. I mean, I guess like some game nights, you could find some games, but it was hard to get like find a game that's 20 people plus,
Yeah.
So it was hard in that sense. I think it was for the people who came out, it was pretty good. I think in the beginning we had kind of a rocky start because no one knew what
Yeah.
to really do. So we tried our best, like organizing some stuff. But no, yeah, in the beginning it was definitely difficult. So I think we kind of got a better grasp of it maybe the second semester.
First semester was rough because all we use I feel like not even a lot of people use Discord. I feel
Yeah.
like not a lot of people use Discord in the beginning, but like after COVID, like really like picked up and everyone was at home, that's when they started using it.
Mhm.
So it was so hard to get new members or new people. All we would get was just the old members that would join, and like it was easy to retain them, but getting new people was like almost impossible.
And-
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
And Mark, like last year, like coming out of COVID, like what were your like expectations now that people are starting to be on campus? Like there was a hopes that like mask restrictions were gonna be lifted. Like how did you guys, like as president last year, how did you like think of ways to revive FASA?
I think you got to start with like what we were dealing with in the beginning, right? Because the last year, we're basically dealing with a blank slate and people that are about to graduate, and that's how I viewed it. Because my class itself became even smaller after COVID. Like 70% of them went to nursing school. The only ones left, yeah, I can count them on my hands. And we had the upperclassmen. Well, we had the seniors at the time, and Raph, who was still around. And but yeah, really, we didn't know what we were going into because we didn't know a lot of people that were living on campus. We didn't know the situation. We had some people like Tulip, Avita, who stepped up during the online and, you know, like tried to make a name for themselves and like showed their leadership. But we really had nothing. Going into it, our first event, we didn't expect too much, and I think we did pretty well. Involvement Fest went a lot better than I thought it would. We saw a lot of faces, but retaining them is always another challenge.
That's always the hard part.
Yeah.
Always the hard part.
Yeah, I remember one of the years you had to do one of like the big events that FASA has, Pistahan, where it's like you guys have a whole show, usually doing a bunch of cultural acts and even, you know, having a whole storyline lined up. How did that go about like during the COVID years?
Yeah, so I was actually one of the directors for that.
Yeah.
Like helped out with the whole tech part. Let's just say it was pretty big in terms of tech because you know everyone's at home. You can't interact in person no matter how much you wanted to. So it was very difficult because how do you do a play online, right?
Yeah.
Like luckily we were able to base it off of some skits that people were doing online. Like I think they did a Hamilton skit or something like that where they showed like the different pictures and whatnot. So luckily the other directors, Shireen and Hannah, they were able to like navigate through that, and they came up with a pretty good piece that focused on us as students in that situation. So on like during the COVID area and on Discord. So that was kind of like the whole premise of the thing. So it would seem like you were watching people on Discord. Like one, I forgot what there's one movie, a horror movie that did something like that where it was just like a bunch of Skype calls.
Unfriended.
Yeah, Unfriended. So it's basically kind of like that, just without the horror.
Oh yeah, the horror aspect.
But yeah, so I mean, other than that, it was difficult to kind of piece it together. But I think in the end, it turned out pretty well for an online thing and trying to keep it alive, because we could have easily just like not have done it, which honestly was a big factor that we were like weighing for. But I think in the end, it was like it would just do FASA injustice if we just like completely got rid of it, you know.
I'll
Yeah,
be honest,
At least for that year.
I thought we canceled it.
Yeah, it wasn't well
half-
advertised, if I'm being honest. But no, yeah, it was because it came down to it, where it's like, do we have it? Do we not? And like, you know, like we did have a cast that was dedicated to it, so they were willing to stick through, and like they were able to do it well. But it did come down to like the wire in terms of doing stuff, and luckily people sent in like their submissions, because you know how do you do a dance? Because we would normally have like cultural dances and whatnot, but how do you do a dance online? Like you can have dance partners. So I think we substituted the dance bit. We might have included a clip from like past Pistahans, but we really emphasized more on member engagement and that and whatnot. So like having people submit their different like videos of them playing guitar or singing or whatnot.
That's a nice way to like think around the musical performances and the dances.
Yeah, and it was a live audience too, right? It wasn't recorded.
Oh yeah.
Like you had you have live people watching. It wasn't like pre-recorded and then in post edited, right?
Well, no. So it technically was like I set up the whole thing. I think it was like a 2-hour session or whatnot, And what we did in terms of live audience was we would post it to YouTube. So on YouTube it had like like the whole countdown live stream kind of thing. And then that's when people would join in so they could watch and like get the reactions. But the whole thing was a 2-hour long video.
Wow.
Thank God I upgraded my computer, because if I was still on the Mac, oh my God, dude.
For the dances, y'all could have just did like a live Just Dance thing.
That's actually smart. that is smart. Or like one of those dance compilation where you just have different clips of people. But I think it was like it just lacked the unison in terms of like being around people and seeing one another.
Yeah.
And I think that was like the whole tone of the COVID era with all the events and such. It's much different to have this podcast, for example, online than to be in person, like physically.
Yeah, we
touch,
could like
like people. Like, okay, all right. Chill.
Watch out for the turf.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, we could be able to do
Yeah.
that. Like, the energy is different. We could bounce off of one another with the energy.
Yeah. What was like your favorite event to like plan or event to like host? Like, probably for mine, I did like one GBM. That was kind of fun. But that's basically all I've hosted in my experience. So.
Let's see, because these guys didn't have the opportunity to host any in-person events, though I'm sure over their first 2 years in FASA, they had plenty of opportunity to be up there. And I learned a lot from these two from the first 2 years. And when I came in and I had the opportunity to host, my favorite, I don't know. I think every single event is just super different, aka you're meeting tons of new people, fun night, you're trying to get a bunch of these randoms to do stuff. I don't know, as something that I liked because it was new for me was directing Pistahan, but that was along with Ina and Rose and Nikki. Without them, that wouldn't have gone through. But yeah, definitely my favorite part. That isn't really an event, but I guess I liked being up there on stage.
Yeah, you like the limelight.
Something like that.
The man was the principal, yo. What was the name? What was your character's name? The principal?
Habrowski, I think. That's what I wrote. I wrote it in the script, so I can't be wrong.
True.
There was one thing I liked about Vista, and like especially your role was just like improvise like the graduation call. Like you'd call out like the extras. You'd say like Juice World come up. You had your whole speech that was like half improv too, which was pretty funny.
I think that for me at least, like, highlighted why I like FASA so much. I came in as a freshman, knew nobody, just say whatever dumb stuff, and some people laughed, right? And that's why I stayed. And I, as you can see, until now, I'm still doing the same thing. And it was just a great community for me. Yeah.
Speaking about like how like you first coming into FASA, how did you guys like discover FASA at first? Especially you, Dan, since as a non-Filipino.
Yeah,
so.
Disclaimer to the
He's
audience.
Mexican.
I'm Mexican, American, technically Mexican, but yeah, I have no ounce of Filipino in me. I guess okay,
enough.
so I guess professionally we could go with, I vibed with you guys in terms of like Mexican culture and Filipino culture, quite similar in terms of like the Spanish roots. In terms of not professionally, in terms of like how it actually happened. Let's see. So in terms of how it actually happened, my freshman year fall semester, I had a friend, her name was Lauren Stone. So her roommate was Ann Jeanette at the time, but I didn't know Ann Jeanette. She's my co in the Chris Wu-Tang clan. But yeah, so I didn't know Ann Jeanette my fall semester. I think I had maybe 1 or 2 interactions with her. And they weren't necessarily good interactions, but they were. It was just like, I would be with, I would just be.
Can you elaborate, please?
All right, so it's okay. So I remember we were just watching like Netflix like really late at night in Lauren's room, and I just remember Ann Jeanette coming through the door, kind of thing, like after semi practice. So she was hella tired, and like to come in and like see like a group of people chilling there, it was like kind of thing. So I felt really bad. I was like, ah shit, I should like leave. So yeah, so I apologize for that. Like that was the one interaction I had with her. But then when spring semester started, I think Lauren and Angela like started to hang out more often. So she would bring her out to some stuff like when we would hang out like in our little group. And yeah, so that's when I got to know her a bit. And then like I think it was after the first week or so, it was like very early on. We got pretty close because we would like study together, and she would tell me like, oh hey, you should come to this involvement fest. I'm part of this club, FASA, and whatnot. But I think the involvement fest was like the second week of February, but the very first day of February, I actually had a pre-interaction with the FASA freshmen, like so my generation, me and Raph's generation at the time. That to me was awkward, where they would always like their hangout spot was P-Tap basement, right? Like they would always go there every single night. They would always be at P-Tap basement, like just like this, but everyone at P-Tap basement, like just chilling, playing games, listening to music, whatnot. And I remember I was supposed to hang out with Mirari because I knew him in fall semester, and I was chilling, like waiting for him outside his door. And I'm like, "Yo, where you at?" He's like, "Oh, I'm doing laundry." So I'm like, "All right, I'll go down there." He's like, "Oh, I'm not doing laundry anymore. I'm chilling in P-Tap basement. Come through." And I wasn't expecting to like walk in and there's like 30 something Filipinos and Mirari. Like, no, that's literally what it was. Like, you just walk in, it's like 30 Filipinos and then a Mirari. And it was like, goddamn. So like, you got like the group playing like Smash. Like, like I met Paulo, Ryan, Frank. Like they were playing Smash over there. You'd have like Nikki and Kobe like jamming on the guitar. People doing homework in the back.
Wow.
And I mean, I didn't play Smash, but like that was the first time I touched the controller and all. So like I met them, but I mean, I was very much overwhelmed by it, like meeting all these new people.
Yeah.
But the fact that they like were so like, oh yeah, let's play, like whatnot, and it was like cool. I got a bit intimidated because at one point, John Estevez lost to Tofi, and he started doing push-ups right next to me, like 50 push-ups. But he was like screaming too, like doing push-ups, and I was like terrified of this man because, to me, he was the buff short dude in my math class. And I was scared of him. I was like, oh, I can't deal with him.
I'm not gonna lie.
I can't interact with that man.
John looks intimidating at first.
No, yeah, but he's a whole teddy bear when I met him.
Yeah, John is a soft teddy bear, a soft huggable teddy bear underneath all that muscle.
No, yeah. So then after that, at one point, Frank and Murray were the only two heads I knew there, right? They left me to go play 2K in Murray's room. So I was just still there, sitting there. And at one point, I think like 30 minutes went by when I was just doing nothing and like realizing my situation at the time. And I was like, you know what, guys, I'm gonna head out now. I gotta go to sleep and all. And so I said bye to some people, like, I'll see you guys later. And as I'm leaving, I'm texting my friend Kimberly, hey, are you in your room? You won't believe this, that kind of thing. And I go to her and she's like, what happened? I'm like, you won't believe this, bro. I was like in a room with a bunch of, can I curse?
Just do it.
All right, I was in a room with like a bunch of fucking Filipinos, bro. And I was basically telling her like I'll never see those people again, so I don't give a shit. And like 2 weeks later, I show up at Involvement Fest, and there's like people that recognized me from board, and they're like, "Oh, hey, you should sign up." So I sign up, like not knowing shit. Then the next week they had the GBM, and Anjanette drags me over to it. So we go to it, and then that's where I met more people. I was like, all right, this seems cool. And then it slowly like grew from there. Like it snowballed because like I would show up to right outside of your room where you guys would sit and study, and that's where I got close with like Raph and Frank and like Paul and them. Like we would study around there.
Wow.
We would stay in my room. It was musty.
Yeah.
we housed 4 people in my room during that year.
Hey, that sounds like a similar experience for me, because when I like first year for me, oh my god, we were supposed to only have like technically 2 because like COVID was still a thing, but we were able to fit like around 8 to 10 in one of the, and I swear to God,
allegedly
this didn't happen
in GTA 5. This happened.
Yes, yeah, right.
Minecraft.
It happened in Minecraft. But yeah, you could fit like 10 people in that Minecraft wooden
There's
hut.
no way.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
We had 4 and it was already like hella crowded. I had to like step over people just to use the bathroom.
Oh yeah, no, dude. When I was in there, it was.
Oh my
god.
God. I remember there was one night in your dorm where like a lot of us freshmen slept there.
Oh goodness.
Dude,
yeah.
It was me, you, True, Gabby, Ayana, Jacob.
Yeah.
And Bella and Ina was there.
Yeah.
And then there was like 5 people on your
Who
bed.
let Ina in the room? She's 2 years older than you guys. Freshman bonding. I'm messing with you. Ina. My bad.
But yeah, there was like 5.
She's the president right now.
What's she gonna do?
For real.
Exactly. We're not a part
Impeach
of FASA.
us?
Exactly.
Unimpeachable.
Hey, y'all guys' time has came. Like,
Yeah.
she can't do anything.
How'd you join?
Me? You won't believe this, but when I first came in here, I was like, I'm gonna party. I was like, I'm gonna join a frat.
He went to
I was-
UMBC.
I was
and
ready-
he said,
I was
I'm gonna party at UMBC.
God,
I was.
I
Shout
think he's
out-
missing like a letter or something.
Shout out Drew Tam because I was
Oh, yeah.
really close to joining Lambdas, but it was either. So when I came in, basically, I went to a FASA meetup because of Ryan DeWang, my roommate, and he also went with Kobe. So they went to an event. I went with them. I was like, these people seem cool. Never gonna see them again though. So I left, and then I went to Involvement Fest. I looked at all the different like clubs. I was really interested in the Fest to go there, but I just stuck with FASA somehow, and I kept hanging out there more and more, and I ended up being D6 proxy. I don't remember how, but I was like,
You went to Involvement Fest.
I
and
was
all
like,
of a sudden...
yeah, I was like, why not? Let me do this, and then I got the position. I was like, holy shit! So now I had actual responsibilities,
Yeah.
and then I guess it was like from there I met more people. I was like bonded with them, and then I became rep the next semester or next year. I became D6 rep. After that, VP.
Same year.
During that same year, I became VP because our president had to step down, and then after that, I became president. So
So you've like done it all.
yeah,
If we're being honest, we kind of all had similar paths.
Wow,
in that
really?
sense. Yeah.
So so like what position were you in, like initially before president?
So
I remember
freshman year,
you-
I wasn't anything because I was spring semester when I joined.
Okay.
But around that time, they were encouraging me because they found out that I did photo and video and all that, and then I did a Pistahan video. We nicknamed Jollibee, so it's supposed to be like all happy and whatnot, but it turned out to be like a super sad one that made everyone cry during Pistahan. So I was the only happy person, but everyone else was crying. Which
It's like,
I was
I made
"Oh,
that,
bet."
and then
Yeah, I was like, oh
Yeah,
yes.
you made
I'm like
that.
cheering, and I see everyone like hugging and crying. I'm like, yes, tears.
it's on the
Um,
YouTube.
Yeah, it's,
That made
it's on
me-
the YouTube.
I was
yeah.
sobbing.
Yeah,
after that.
he was in it. So, but yeah, so I did that, and then they encouraged me for media specialist. I'm like, all right, I'll see what happens. Like why not? So I got it. So the next year I did media specialist, which right now would be considered historian and graphic design, kind of combined. So I did that my sophomore year, and then going into junior year, I became VP with him. So he was pres. I was his VP, and then when he left for nursing school, I kind of moved up to pres from that point. So, and now I'm a ghost.
All right.
It's like
And,
he's
uh,
still with us.
Yeah, and now I'm a FASA alumni ghost.
You have the shirt.
How about you, Mark?
For me, I started as a general body member.
Let's go.
That did not last long.
That lasted maybe a week. So I guess similar to Dan, or not, we have some intermingling characters in this FASA universe.
DNA Helix.
When I first got into UMBC, I knew 2 people that went here, like from high school days, and one of them was Nikki Rapetta. She introduced me to a bunch of her FASA friends on like their move-in day, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I thought they were sort of cringe. Like straight up. I mean, like, so me, I pull up. I don't know. They're helping someone move in, and then they just all break out dancing. And this is a common theme for a lot of
true.
them. They
We
just,
do
they
that.
just,
Or they do that. I don't know.
every whenever they meet up, and then a song that comes on from Semi starts playing, they just break out and dance. And I'm completely new. I don't know nobody. I think I distinctly remember meeting like Tofi or something because he dapped me up and his hand was sort of sweaty. But right after that, someone starts playing some music on their phone and start breaking out and dance. And I was like, oh,
Like some High School Musical.
this
type.
might not be the group for me.
low key, that's still kind of a thing where people
no,
just
it's-
break out
yeah.
and dance.
And-
Literally in the reveal, me and Ruben just dancing randomly.
No, but it's a lot cooler now. I found it to be like, oh, they're doing this because they all know. I didn't know what they're doing it for.
Did it grow on you?
No,
Oh, okay.
I've yet to dance at a semi.
It's never too late. It's never too late.
It's a little late.
20 years later.
But yeah,
You practiced hype last year, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
and then
the-
I got COVID. It's not meant to be. I'm not.
God said no.
No, I tested positive the day of.
God damn.
And
You really
then-
had
and then
you in
my
the first
freshman
half.
year when I was also practicing hype, I played basketball and I hit knees with Lance Patron and I couldn't walk.
But Lance could.
Lance was made out of steel.
Lance could walk, but you were out of there.
My knee was hurting. I had to walk to a pub in the morning the next day.
Pop.
Yeah, and for
I
those of you
know
that
all
don't
too
know,
well.
that's the top of the mountain.
That's the Jade Palace, bro.
Yeah. But yeah, so I that first night when I met him, I was like, see you around, buddies. But I went back to my room, started hanging out with my roommate, who, interesting character. If any of you know him,
Was
probably
he?
don't, because
Say his name.
nah.
Expose him. Expose him.
No. But little do I know, my RA is Anjanette. So she always mentions FASA because I think at the time she's the treasurer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was treasurer.
Yeah. And she knew I played volleyball because, when you're an RA, you have to like pretend you like these people that live with you and talk to them about their interests and stuff.
Yeah.
Nice.
Although you were her favorite. I guess because she kind of knew you.
I was
And
everyone's
you-
favorite.
That is
Yeah.
true. We had like 7 different people ask for you as a little.
Yeah, dude, you were
Well,
hard.
It doesn't help that everyone in my class was sort of a square, or not. Okay, they were just a little shy.
Damn.
Zed was cool.
Yeah, I think for their class, there were really only
I
3
don't
or 4
remember
people
anyone
that
except-
came out.
I
very
remember
often.
Zed, Mark.
Raven.
Oh yeah, Raven.
Hey,
Shantae.
but also
Shant-
Yeah.
it does. So like the reason
No,
it's
keep
not
on
that big.
board.
I'm not gonna completely blame it on them being squares. That's what I mean. But FASA looked a little too close already, right? And that's often the reason that a lot of people don't join, because they see you guys hanging out on tables 24/7, and it's the same people, and it feels a little weird when you're the first one to sit there. My freshman year, I don't think I went to tables once. I was D6 proxy, and like I felt sort of weird every time I walked by a bunch of people that don't know me, or I don't know. I guess they know me. We're all like, "That's the proxy. That's the proxy." Like, I felt a little weird because I never really spoke to 90% of them. And speaking of, I got proxy, and I thought I lost because Raph and Lance interviewed Zed at the time, and
Mhm.
Zed at like semi practice was like, "Yeah, I think I got it in the bag," and I was like, "Yeah, probably."
That was so hard. We really couldn't choose between either you.
Hey, he was cool. He was cool people too. It was definitely.
I saw him recently at the hospital. He's doing good. He's
Like-
still
So you say that like he's
Like-
he's
recovering.
still-
Lance or
I was
No,
gonna
Zed?
say, like-
he works there. He works there.
He works there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah,
was about to
I
say, like,
forgot. I forgot. He works there.
No, actually, I called out of work the other day because I said my boy Shem is at the hospital, and he works there.
We always have that excuse in case you need to.
Yeah, no, it's
That's smart.
it's a bar. Dude, where was I? Proxy, and then that year our president stepped down. He became VP. I took his spot as the webmaster.
Stop. Don't mention that.
Y'all know what a
Hold on.
webmaster is?
What's a webmaster, yo? I
Oh.
never heard of that.
A webmaster
reason.
is someone who goes to D6 meetings and doesn't do anything.
Okay, so a webmaster, right? I was like, we really couldn't have come up with a better name for it.
Webmaster.
You're
Like
literally-
Spider-Man?
Yeah,
what I'm
that's
saying.
what I was
All
about
you-
to say. That's what I was about to say, yo.
All you are is you're in charge of the website, and D6 has a website, and it's really good now. Shout out to their current rep.
It doesn't
their
exist
past one.
anymore.
Is it really not?
I was about to say,
Damn.
there's a decent website.
Well, there was during our times, and it was
Ah.
really good. But during my year, I'm sorry, Jono and Chris, but they kept asking me, "Yo, Raph, can you update the website?" I'm like, yeah, sure, I got it. Updated 3 things, and that was it. And I never even finished it. It was just the pictures and their names.
And then when I got the position, all I did in a semester was I added Meet the Schools page, and it was just all the clubs and their pictures. Not even because we're supposed to be like directory and list of board. I didn't put a single one of them on there.
I didn't know how to work it.
Dude, this guy. Okay. Also, he transferred the account to me, and then the next week it charged my card.
Wait, what? Did it really? Why are you telling me that?
He was like, here, you just got to enter your card info. I don't think they're gonna make you pay or anything. And then I get a charge. Luckily, I put a privacy card on there, and then it overdrafted the account. But that money, I don't think I'm in debt.
Did they ever pay you back?
If I check my credit score and it's like a 550.
We know why.
we're gonna have
We
a
know
problem.
why.
Blame
Yeah.
these six.
Nah, it's Raph's fault.
Oh, blame Raph.
I never even.
It would be your fault, yeah.
Dude,
Oh my
that was
God.
$125.
What the?
Yeah, it was
for the
it was
website account, or-
Squarespace.
Squarespace was
Oh,
Squarespace
that's
like
true.
yearly something,
Wow.
and they didn't want to have like .squarespace at the end, so you have to pay a little extra for that. Otherwise, it'd be like 17.
Just for the .squarespace.
yeah, because you have to buy the domain.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And we had like maybe 15 monthly visitors.
Nice. So
That was
15 of
you.
those
And
were
it was
you.
me.
That was you re-editing it. You made up
on
for the
different
video.
laptops.
It was me hitting refresh.
Maybe there's a
see if the
reason
code
why it
worked.
doesn't exist no more.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then I decided like, hey, D6 is sort of easy. So I did it again, and that was the year the pandemic we were fully online. That sucked, bro.
Wow.
I was a sports coordinator during a time when we weren't allowed to
Oh yeah.
be outside.
So what kind of things did you do?
I was working full time at the time.
Oh, was that the end of it, right? The end of your, because we split sports court with you and Lance, right?
No, I'm talking about sports code for D6.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
We were very
yeah,
as everyone was at the time. We're super optimistic. Like every single week in the pandemic, we're like, oh, just a few more weeks, just a few more days.
Yo, they
They'll
told
tell
us
us
2
something.
weeks at first. Yo.
Yeah, right. And so we always planned for, hey, maybe when we get out, we'll do this, or if they lift some restrictions, blah blah blah. None of that ever happened.
Yeah.
I was going to those meetings for basically no reason. I'll be honest. But that is when I like super fell in love with like being a leader and just like networking and stuff, because that's when I met some of the closest friends I've made ever on my board and D6 board. Like shout out Chris Moza, Jono, shout out Emily, Jelly, Josh. If I'm forgetting anyone, what's her name? Elena. Yeah, like those are all super cool people. I'm saying names that don't mean anything to you guys right now, but maybe you know one of them.
Now they hear it. They hear it.
If they're watching this, which for some reason, I know you got
Hey.
better things to do with the time.
Nah, this podcast popping, yo.
But yeah, after that, I decided like, hey, why not take over? Dan had been doing it. Raph made it look so easy.
Oh.
Wait, what did I make look easy? Being a president or
Yeah,
just
being president?
Oh, I was like, hey, we're good. We're chilling. That's all we're doing. Because that's all we were doing. There was nothing else to do.
Dude,
I tried to save it.
I feel,
I
okay.
tried.
I
So
feel
hard.
so bad for Dan and Raph, mostly Dan, because during our
Not you though.
No,
Not you though. Not you though.
no, not even like no diss to you, but like during EVMs, it's just Dan talking.
Dude, it was hard.
I like listening to Dan talk.
And it was hard too online because, when you're in person, you could vibe off the energy in
Yeah.
the room.
Yeah.
Of course.
But when you're online, you know damn well half of them are doing homework and half of them are playing games.
Yes.
I know you.
Yes.
Hey, I know you were playing games
Wait,
and
no,
we were
no,
the
no,
ones
when
presenting.
When I was president?
Yeah.
No. I was when I was like joined in when you were president. And I would join to support and play games.
I
Yeah.
promoted to Diamond in TFT during an EVM.
I saw
That is true.
it said
I saw
it
his
said
post.
playing League of Legends.
I posted that on
Yeah.
Instagram.
I climbed out of gold.
Right, I saw his post about
during
that.
one of
I,
those.
I'm
good
not gonna lie.
time.
We during the summer we had online EVMs. Half the time, Tulip, my bad, but like half the time I was not listening.
I was on Valorant with you.
I was on Valorant. with
Wait,
Mark.
Mark. I remember one time we forced everyone to have cameras on. In your glasses, I definitely saw it. In your reflection, I saw the game going on.
You either get the
saw
reflection
something
or you get their forehead, right? You just get the forehead when they're doing something else.
Yeah, and you know what's different when they have like the side cam, so like you could see their monitor.
Yeah.
On this,
And
and they're
this-
like
yeah.
this.
And this was back in the day when I was sharing a room with my sister, and
Oh,
Gabby
yeah.
would be like so scared to walk by, because like the door to our room was like right behind me, and her bed was like further on the side, or like her side, and then so she was so scared to walk out because she didn't want anyone to see her.
Yeah. But each time we did, we knew who she was.
Yeah.
He
I
mentioned
didn't.
it. We'd be like, oh, hey, Gabby.
Gabby,
No, it's always funny when like they call out your name and then it takes like 3 seconds to be like, yeah.
No, dude.
That was
Oh, my God.
You gotta,
Okay,
like,
so-
you gotta like alt tab and check what the
So you
slide is
gotta
doing.
unmute.
Yeah.
All right, so it hit me the worst, right? Was the fact that I won't lie, I was actually new to Discord at the time when we started. Like I had it before, but I didn't know how to use it. But when we were first starting, and like I would do a talk and I'd be like, all right, guys, so what do you guys think about that? And everyone else was muted, no cameras on or whatsoever, and no one would say anything. And I'm like, what the fuck? All right, so like, hello, what do you guys,
Hello?
what do you guys think of? And nothing. And then I get a text and they're like, oh, we're discussing in chat. You should check the chat. And then that's when
A
I
month or
finally
so
see.
in.
Yeah, we were a
multiple
month.
meetings. In.
We were already in like a month
Oh
or
my
so in,
gosh.
discussing a bunch of different things, and we check it, and then that's when I can actually see that we're actually doing something, but through chat.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, they're reacting to what we're saying, and I just thought I was like talking to myself. It got really hard.
It's okay.
Like
You're
the
not
very
alone.
first
You're not
time,
alone.
it got really hard for me and Raph, because we were just like, it felt like we were just talking to each other.
I thought y'all
'Cause
didn't
we were
like
the
us,
only
yo.
two- No, yeah, I thought so too. Like, I'd be like, God damn, I thought these guys were my friends.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, why aren't they talking back?
I don't think that's on y'all. They didn't say anything
No,
for a month.
the whole time
They're
they're
like,
like,
shut up for a
they're
month.
like chatting, and we're like, they'll unmute every now and then, and like one person would say like everyone's ideas that was being discussed, and all what I know is I'll be like, dang, that's a really good idea. This is the only person that's been talking. I'm like, nice. Everyone else, fuck y'all. And then I realized, wait a second, it's like a collaboration going on. Like, all right, it's fine. So then I figured out how to use Discord, so it worked more smoothly. But yeah, not sponsored.
Yeah, that online year was it was Giselle on Instagram.
Shout out
Cool.
Giselle.
Those
Yeah.
graphics like set the bar for the entire district and for like all school clubs. Like if you guys had seen,
No, I remember back in high school, because
Oh, you saw
I
in
knew
high school?
well, I knew FASA like when I was in high school, because I knew Kobe like way back because of our church group. So he'd like repost stuff, and I'd check it out, like especially the I think it was either the 2018 semi dance. That's when I first really like heard of FASA, and I saw Giselle's thing because I started following it.
yeah, like
It looked hella good.
that year it was Instagram posts and like fundraisers. We did make some good money.
We
though.
made some money.
A
I
lot of
hope
money.
you guys are doing good with that money that we left behind for y'all.
Yeah, I don't know how do we even.
I don't think these guys know, but
Oh.
Adam, they're not allowed to know.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they're not.
No,
Adam,
yeah,
the treasurer,
yeah,
my
yeah.
big.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the fundraisers. I mean,
We're-
to be
we're
honest,
doing
the
good, guys.
The gaming events in general were pretty good online because the only ones that were active were gamers.
Exactly.
So it made it worthwhile. And the fact that no one is going out to spend money just meant that they had the $5 to buy in. You know?
Because we're all indoors.
because
then
you're all indoors, you're
stimmy
not hanging with
checks.
friends, you're not
Oh, yeah,
you're not
and
buying
this-
Tito, you're not buying boba and
yeah,
and
you're not
whatnot.
like just buying like
yeah,
food
because
every
that
day.
right there,
Check out
$5.
that.
But if you would just put those $5 for a
Ooh, $5.
fundraiser just for you to play a
And
game
if
or two,
everyone did $5, yeah,
Mhm,
exactly.
mhm.
And
And we're still doing those online
Yeah.
video game
they
tournaments.
were pretty
and stuff.
good. They're pretty good.
Look out for that.
dude, and they're so much better now. I feel like online it did boom. Like we did really well, but it sort of created an environment in FASA that was like you have to game, right? And
Yeah.
that sort of like set us on the wrong foot when we come into in person. because those guys don't know how to socialize.
They
take
play
them off,
League, yo.
take them off of Valorant and don't give them callouts, and they don't know how to talk to people. So it's a little confusing. Right?
You want me to what the door? Hold the door. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I
I
couldn't
thought-
press E.
Yeah, it's like, hey,
There's
we're
already
going,
I was
an
just
alarm bot
peeking. I
there,
was just
yo.
peeking, bro.
I'm telling you, we're meeting at ILSB to study. We're planning C.
Planning C.
It's like,
I
come on.
have the spike.
That wasn't a part of the chat wheel.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But
No way.
it was really cool coming in and realizing that, like, hey, other people with other interests are real, because that's all the people I was
Yeah.
talking to, for the majority of, our online stuff. And coming back, I at least think we were able to get a decent variety of freshmen who are into a bunch of things, and you can tell by the people in this room. If the camera was flipped, like, hey, there's some cool people in here.
Yeah, everybody say hi.
I don't even know if the mic
JJ
picked
didn't
them
say
up,
hi.
I heard it. I heard it.
I don't know who
Yeah.
these people are.
I will say though.
I should have never said anything.
I will say though, I gotta give a huge shout out to like Christian and Thea, because they're the ones that kind of start out like the gaming thing.
Yeah.
So during our sophomore year, they started that. Like I think it was League, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did League and kind of like somewhat. I think it was Super Mario's
They
or
had,
something
like,
like that.
Smash
Smash
tournament.
tournament.
A mini
and,
Smash
League
tournament, but it was
Legends.
mainly League, and that was the first in person. Well, first tournament in general, but it was also in person.
Oh, so like land?
Yeah, LAN
Wow.
party. And
It
one,
was
it was
so
in
fun.
one of
Dang.
these buildings, but I forgot. It
Public
sounds
policy.
It was in
public
pub,
policy. Yeah.
Public
and
policy.
We were there from like
Oh my
5
god.
p.m. till 3 a.m.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was wild. You
Dang.
had people coming in with all their computers, like setting up like in a line. Like it felt like how you
Like
would
a convention almost. Like.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
a convention,
like
but also like
esports.
esports. How you
Wow.
would see like, for example, Worlds.
Did you
for
have like
League.
set teams or no? It
Yeah.
was just
Yeah, you would come in with your team.
Oh,
like,
wow.
It got so wild that JP even came in with his roommate and brought his whole PC.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
the big ass.
The whole
PC,
setup and the monitor.
monitors,
Wow.
everything. They were carrying it in. I got pictures of that. Like them
The
coming
League
in.
of Legends club showed up,
Yeah.
and they're all like Diamond Grandmaster.
Oh yeah.
Me and JP beat them though.
Ah.
Dude,
Mm.
what was wild was that was my first time. That was my first interaction with Ishan, and at the time I thought, because Ishan was in, the only person I knew from like Ishan's team I think was like Andy and
Austin.
Mainly Austin, because Austin like hung out a bit more than
Yeah.
Ishan, because he was kind of like just came in recently. But because Ishan wore a Cloud9 jacket or sweater that day, or jersey or something like that, I thought, my dumbass, because I didn't know like League at the time, my dumbass actually thought that Ishan was on Cloud9 esports
No,
team.
Ishan is on. Club.
Yeah, that
He
they brought him
is,
in.
he is, he
Yeah,
is.
yeah. So they
Right,
basically
he
they
is.
brought in a ringer to play League, and the fact that they won just was like, God damn, bro, it's because of the ringer. Like you see the picture, and it's just him wearing like the Cloud9 jersey and everything. I'm like,
But now you
These guys-
see Ishan
these guys
everywhere
cheated.
for FASA.
no, yeah,
you see
bro,
him
he's-
everywhere.
He's so active. It's crazy. It's crazy how with one little thing, people are just reeled into it
Yeah.
so quickly. And I think it's mainly because of the connections that they're able to make, and like people kind of like not dragging them out, but more like you just eventually find your place in it, and it just grows.
Yeah. No, so like in my experience, in being in FASA for 2 years, I remember when I first joined, I didn't really go out to tables much. I didn't go to the GBMs. It was something that my sister told me to join, but I was like, nah.
You don't need to listen to Ina.
I was kind of busy. I was
listen
kind
to
of busy
sister.
with like music theory, and like that was basically kicking my ass. Like, you could ask Choo Choo at the time. I would probably be up at like 3 crying in the dorm just because of music, right? But so
Just play a note.
I
man.
remember I went to my first semi practice, and I think it was it was Tuesday. It wasn't Paulo's. It was
Gerald.
it was Gerald's
Gerald.
Central
I remember.
Peter.
Oh yeah.
And I remember that I went there because like, oh, I kind of like dancing. I'm not particularly good at it, but I'd like to get better. So I went just for the workshop. And right there, like we started dancing and stuff when we lined up, and right next to me was Jacob. And you know, I was like, we were just laughing and making jokes, and eventually by the end of the night, you know, I knew his name, and after that, we just kept going to the practices, and then look at us now. Me and Jacob are on board, and like, you know, we're all doing all these different events and stuff, and I feel like it's just that one thing that really like reels you in.
Mm-hmm.
That workshop was when I also really got to know you better.
Oh yeah, I
'Cause,
remember.
like a week before, like 2 weeks before, we we met each other
Yeah.
like through True.
I think me, you, Choo Choo, and JJ were sitting
Yeah,
at a
we
table
were-
in the commons, and you're talking about like working out, and I didn't do
Yeah.
that. So.
And then you came over to me and JJ, and then he's like, "Hey guys, this is Jacob. I just met him."
Oh yeah.
I remember that.
Because I just met you. Choo Choo introduced me to you guys, and then when we got closer, I introduced you to Jacob,
Mhm.
and then when Jacob did that, he
Like,
introduced other
I feel
people.
like this is how like people in FASA like really get together, where it just snowballs. Like,
Oh, yeah.
hey, I know this person. I know this person. Gonna try to bring it out to this event, and then introduce them to the other people, and then like it goes so on and so on.
Yeah, but I mean, even those who like probably don't know people that much, even the ones that tend to show out, it's the fact that everyone is still so welcoming
Mhm.
and accepting of those
Of
people that when they feel comfortable and they actually come out more often, they start to become more like staple
and make
people.
those connections.
Yeah, because I remember it was coming back from COVID. There were like a few people that weren't really active, but they would show up to, for example, they would show up to like one of the workshops, and then they got reeled into that, and they would stay and like do the dances. Like to me, the big one that stuck out was like Luis. He wasn't really too active with like anyone,
Yeah.
not really interacting too much. And like he would show up to that, and then he got reeled into it, and like now I see him like everywhere in FASA.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Louis. I knew Luis before college, and I'll tell you that guy. He's still on the quiet side, but he's really like
He's funny.
breaking out of his shell.
And I
I'm
think
really
like,
happy for him.
those things where you realize you share something with another person is really how you build community. I think it like zooming back, like maybe out of FASA right now, it's so often that we find ourselves thinking that like, oh, these other people are so much different than I am, or we don't, or you don't like assume that you have shared interest, which I think is super dumb because you're in a college campus, the kids the same age. If you listen to anything remotely mainstream, you're bound to have some type of shared interest or at least shared experience.
Exactly.
And I
You're
think
basically going through the same thing.
yeah,
you too.
and it's you just have to give them an option or just show them, and I think that's something that we should strive to do in
Mhm.
like all events, right? Just show people that like, hey, we're not that different after all. Like you saw how many people we get from playing volleyball, that
Yeah.
community,
Hella people.
basketball,
Mhm.
dancing, gamers, like
No, yeah, like I remember there were some people that would come up to the volleyball events, and then lo and behold, look at them now. They're picking up bigs and littles in the AKA.
Yeah.
Like that's just like it's just a beautiful thing, you know.
Yeah.
So
No, I think the AK is definitely a big staple in like student orgs. I know it's mainly like the big little situation is supposed to be mainly for like fraternity sororities, but the fact that the social cultural orgs have a big emphasis on it, I think influences a lot of people to kind of connect with others. Even though that the AK events are like pretty short, you know, it's like a week-long thing. You have like 3 quick events. Usually the staple's like a type of speed dating kind of thing, so you know you don't get to really know people on a personal level. But the fact that you in the beginning you like slowly introduce yourself through FASA, like going to GBMs and whatnot, hanging around people, especially like freshmen who are like just starting out college, so like they're getting to know people, friends and whatnot. And then these AK events kind of like introduce them to older people who could like bring them out. You know, eventually you find that, oh, I do have common interests with this person, and then hopefully you just hope that the pairings come out good, which I believe so far a majority of them have.
Most of them
Um,
usually work out.
Yeah, like
thanks to the
majority-
coordinator.
Yeah, a
Majority
shout out
of
to you,
the time.
Philip.
And
Yeah.
I can speak like a little bit into that. Well, Mark's my big. Like, what's up? Before like I got paired with Mark, I low key just sent random stuff into GroupMe, like random pictures of ourselves, like
I remember
selfies.
That was funny.
that was.
I was like, who are
y'all
these
brought
guys?
so much
That's
life.
fun. Yeah, they were the only ones talking in the group me at the time.
And then like no one really knew who I was. I mean, a couple people know me now as the guy that dropped spaghetti during AKA reveal. That's how
Oh, yeah.
people really like got to know me. But ever since like when I got Mark as my big, he was like getting me like more involved into FASA. like I would go to events, but like I wouldn't really like do much. Like I'd just be chilling, but like I'd be like as Mark became my big, I became more involved. Like did stuff whenever like the historian wasn't there. I would like help out, like take pictures.
It's a lot of time.
And then like now I'm on e-board, like
As historian.
as historian. Like
Hell yeah.
it's crazy.
For me, it was like it's weird because shout out JP. He told me to shout him out, so I'm doing it now. But
There it is. It's right there.
There it is,
Timestamp.
Timestamp this right now for JP.
It's about an hour in, so
Yeah.
pretty good time.
Well, like he definitely if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't probably be here. Like he kept asking me throughout the year, "Are you going to this? Are you coming to this? Are you coming to go hoop? Let's go hoop or let's game." It's like those little things that like bring me out more and more.
Mm-hmm.
So like I will say, AKA definitely helps out a ton to just bring people out of their shells and get them more to
Yeah.
events. Like at first, like it might just seem like an awkward pairing. I'll say that for most people because a lot
You
of
don't
times
really, like-
you get paired up with somebody you
Yeah.
don't even know. It's hard to
Mhm.
get that perfect match. Like for me, I got lucky, but
Yeah.
a lot of people out there will like have a random big or random little. They won't really get to know, but once they make that initial connection, they
Yeah.
find something they have in common. It'll allow them to just get have that deeper connection and come out to more
Yeah,
events.
and it doesn't even have to be a connection with like your big. It's the
Mhm.
fact that the tree, like the family trees, we'll call
Yeah.
them, have grown so much that even though you don't have a direct connection with your big, you might have a connection with your
With, like,
G
other-
big
yeah.
or
Oh my god.
your
yeah.
co
Mhm.
or your cousin, like from like the bigs
Mhm.
co
Yeah,
and
the
like
branches.
and like the whole brand. So like the fact that it's grew so much is like you feel a sense of belonging and
Mhm.
like I remember today when they were doing the AK review, like after each person it's like Wu-Tang or narcotics or
Yeah.
like all the different
Pookie lineage.
like like all the different
Pookie
lineages,
lineage,
like they would just like yell it out and it's like you felt belonged in that group.
Yeah, yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah. And
Finding
so,
that sense of
like,
belonging.
Yeah.
The lineage parties, like
Oh yeah,
the
that's it.
lineage gatherings. That's how I got to know you.
Yeah, I still
Uh,
have you as a Paulos G Little on my phone. I'll change it, but at first, that's how I remembered you.
But and then that's how I also met Raph. Like the connections you make, like through the lineages. Like you can really make some like lifelong friends along the way.
No, yeah.
Which that's what I love about AKA.
Yeah, I remember when Adam picked me up. Adam is he has an amazing voice and talent on the guitar.
And
And
nice
I-
jeans.
Yeah, always.
Oh my god.
You
the
already-
skinny
you
jeans.
always
His
know.
butt in those jeans. Oh my god.
I didn't.
The way it's
say
ripped.
that,
Yo,
but
We weren't
Did-
saying that.
Did you see him today?
Yo.
Like, it wasn't ripped, but like
it was
it was
about
still
to.
tight.
It was about to.
You can see
But how tight
where
that was.
You can see where it begins and where it ends.
But also, like on that thing about AKA, I think also the inverse does have some like repercussions to it, right? Because as big as narcotics, Wu-Tang, all that is, for those that aren't in that, and it's like
kinda
not
feel left
hearing
out.
things,
Yeah.
not hearing like people so yelling for
Yeah.
them when they come up, like that stuff does feel sort of bad.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think that that's something that can be fixed in one way or another. But regardless, I do often see the perspective that like, oh, they seem to have their own cliques already, because that's sort of true, right?
Yeah.
Like you have the people you hang out with because of whether it be AKA or whatever, but I just think that often if we're able to show that hey or support for other families too,
Of course.
I think if that was more popular, then I think it'd be a bit cooler. But
Yeah.
hey, I do support like hey, shout out the people that came up with you, that you're connected to. Be proud of that.
Yeah, luckily that only lasts for like about a week. And then after that, it kind of goes
you basically forget.
kind of
like,
sad.
yeah.
I mean, you don't forget,
Yeah.
but it's like
You meet other people.
like as
too.
soon as AK like this whole week, you'll just hear people like, "Oh my god, my co! Oh my god, my big!" And then like about a week later, it's like just normal, but more people are just more active because you already know your co is big, so it's not like too vocal about it. But I agree, it definitely does cause some like isolation and whatnot. But I don't know how to really. I guess with that, it would be making sure that the big and little pairing is like really well done where they
Mhm.
won't necessarily feel left out. But yet again, like
That's so
it's
hard
just
to do. though.
it is
Yeah.
hard, but I feel like also it depends on your perspective of like the family program. If you take it very seriously, like, oh no, my family's my family, like Wu-Tang for life kind of thing. Like
Mhm.
no
Yeah.
others kind of
Yeah.
like that. Like it's like okay, cool, but it's like
Also, it could be intimidating.
yeah, it is definitely intimidating. But it's like okay, cool. You're not gonna interact with like other people kind of thing. Like you're taking it a bit too seriously, you know.
Yeah.
It's like chill.
It's like missing the purpose.
As-
yeah,
as-
it's like this is just to connect with different people. Like you got yourself a little cool, but that doesn't mean you
Like-
could neglect these other
Wow.
people that
Yeah.
are friends. You know.
Yeah, like we
So.
draw the trees, but you know, like the roots are FASA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Oh, bars.
Oh, say that one.
God damn. God damn.
But yeah, I think
Wait, we snap, right?
Oh.
My bad.
hey, I love the trees. Like y'all go back, seeing the history, and like that's super cool. Seeing how far we've come. But I think sometimes it detracts from the fact that like where this actually started was some org, like FASA,
Yeah.
like some community. I think it's so much more than an organization.
Of course.
For a lot of us, it turns
a
into
family.
like a part of like a way of life almost. Like
Yeah.
how often are you guys hanging out with each other?
Every day.
Exactly, right?
Every day.
And-
Every night too.
Okay. I didn't ask that much.
My bad.
But yeah, I think that part, if we bring more attention to like, hey, we're part of a family in FASA,
Yeah.
then I feel like more people who aren't necessarily a part of the bigger clans.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way
It's
to
like
put it.
Irish people do.
Clans.
That they'd feel a bit more invited,
Yeah.
I guess, because
Mhm.
even if their pairing doesn't work out right, a lot of people, and I've seen it, right? We see a lot of people, they don't get the pairing they want, they out of there.
It doesn't stop. It shouldn't. It doesn't stop
It
you though.
shouldn't.
Like as clicky as it may seem, like you have your own like family tree. There's nothing stopping you from talking to that person. Still, you can still be friends
Yeah.
with them.
Yeah.
And then in the later semesters, you can have them pick them up. But like as clicky as it looks, I feel like a majority of people are welcoming, and it doesn't really matter what
For sure.
where you get, you know, who you get as a big or little. Like everyone's pretty friendly, welcoming, and open to everyone else.
Yeah, and I think like the only thing that might happen is like, oh, you hang out with FASA peeps and you guys go on like boba runs, McDonald's runs, or just dinner runs and whatnot, and maybe just one of those dinner runs is like this group, like the AKA group, you know, and like maybe you're not a part of it. It's like, but that doesn't take away from the fact that there's all these other runs going on, you know, like to all these different places. Like just because that
Yeah.
one thing was with them, yeah, it seems a bit exclusive, but it's like you shouldn't worry because like while they're doing that, there's still other people around.
You'll
know?
always be included somehow.
Yeah. And a majority of the time, when it does turn into this kind of dynamic, about 90% of the time, if they stick around, they get adopted the next AK, either
Mhm.
the next semester or the next year.
Yeah.
And they just get adopted and they get put right into the group and they're able to like chill.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just mainly like sticking through. Like if the pair doesn't work out, it's not the end of the world. You know, you're not gonna abandon your friends. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah.
And like since I feel like AKA has like evolved. Oh, I mean, I've only experienced like 2 AKAs, but I feel like AKA is just like an evolving like event, right? So like there's got to be like events that like me and Ruben haven't experienced that you guys did, that like you guys would think would be like
Nice
a
to
great
bring
thing
back.
to bring back. Yeah.
I got one straight off the top. I think this is also something that leans back to my last point that would make people feel like it's all of FASA is a family rather than the people that pick you up or whatever. And I haven't even gone to one because I was sick during the guys' night for
Oh yeah.
my freshman year. But I know that like making those terrible mistakes at guys' night with like some of those friends, like y'all are locked in.
No, that's
y'all
true.
locked in after that.
That is
Like
true.
you know, you see someone walk in, break a few chairs, tables. Y'all locked in. Like you got you get locked
That
in.
stays with you.
That stays with you. Like
John Sebas, we're looking at you.
you
So you're
didn't have to
talking-
say
so
his
you-
name.
Oh shit. Love you, John.
Yeah.
He said it
Like-
twice.
Yeah, like doing that type of dumb stuff, especially when you're like, you know, you're new. It's really cool because it's usually at the beginning of the year. Just throw all the guys at some house. I know we haven't been able to do it for the past 2 years because you know everyone's
COVID.
a commuter,
And that's
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think
COVID.
commuter. Yeah.
Maybe next time.
hopefully, you know.
I mean, y'all better have a apartment or something like that.
Mm.
Because
Yeah.
that was the biggest thing. It was like trying to find an apartment.
I think events like that break bring like cute, because at the same time girls' night's happening the other side.
Mhm.
I don't know what they do. It's probably not as fun as what we're doing.
We break
Talking about
chairs.
feelings and stuff.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, but I think stuff like that, or like D6 basketball, volleyball, where we're all like our org rooting for ourselves and like the friends you see that just happen to be part of FASA, then that's your only connection. I think that stuff's like the coolest.
Yeah. No, for the guys and girls night, I actually think that was a pretty good event thing, because even if you don't feel like joining in, if you didn't feel too comfortable like talking to people, it's the fact that it's just like, oh, this is the bros and this is the gals kind of thing. So like you kind of felt more like close with them, because like, let's be honest, when you first join, like who do you normally go talk to, right? You're gonna go talk to like if I show up, I'll probably talk to like some dude that's there, just because like you might have more in common, like, oh, you game, I game too. Like sure, girls might game as well, but it's like
We're not trying to get canceled.
like I know I'm watching my words, but it's maybe that's why we haven't had it in a while.
I mean, you're doing a good job.
No,
with your
it's
word.
hard. Like I
I get what you're.
Yeah,
I
we
get what you're
understand.
saying,
like
though. It's
like,
harder.
it's harder
phrase it,
now.
right?
Masculine night,
yeah.
feminine night.
But at the same time, you could go to anyone. Like the option's always open. You could go to anyone. It just might be a bit awkward. If, like you go to, and there's just a bunch of dudes playing Smash. Like Smash Bros.
Smash Bros and
Yeah, Smash
breaking
Bros.
chairs.
Yeah,
and smashing it.
yeah. So, but it was fun. So I think that event, and then there was one event I had in mind, but I can't. Do you remember? What is yours event?
I'm trying to think. I mean, I haven't seen a FASA Goes in a while.
Oh,
Oh, I remember
That's
we
so-
had those.
Dude.
I never
boys?
went on any.
So it was what was it? 2018.
Sophomore, freshman.
Freshman year, we went ice skating, and then I fell on my ass a lot.
mm.
And then
Ice skating's
remember.
cute.
Was that the only
Ice skating
FASA
was-
goes?
No,
we
the
never.
last
We
one
didn't.
ever was the Halloween one.
Oh yeah.
oh yeah, the Halloween.
Where'd you guys like Feel the Scream?
Feel the Screams. That was-
Markov's Forest is better.
that was it.
Hashtag Markov's Forest.
All right,
No
well,
one is gonna go down there, dog.
Yeah, but it's better. But
that one
anyway,
was good. We went to IHOP afterwards.
I didn't. You guys abandoned me.
Well, that's your fault.
Me and
Wait, is that
no,
the
me-
IHOP before everything went down? Like,
What went down?
Huh?
oh, I just remember there was a FASA Goes, and then it was like an IHOP like right before COVID.
Oh no, that was different. That was
That was
we had
different?
a fundraiser.
Oh, it was a fundraiser.
The day before they sent us back for spring break, and they were like, "We're gonna extend spring break for 2 weeks."
Let's go.
Let's go.
It's been 4 weeks. It's been 2 months.
I still, I
Oh,
have
yeah.
those pictures on.
I
you
remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got some dulce de leche thing because I'm Mexican.
And like since me and Ruben are like our first year on board, like any advice in general to like e-board members
or
just, like,
incoming
yeah,
keyboard
in-
members.
just like to wrap everything up, like any encouragement for current e-board right
think. I got
now?
a lot.
Words of
I
encouragement.
got a lot to probably say, but
Yeah, we have time.
no, I'm trying to think which one is the most important.
So for me, you remember how Dan and his apartment were, like, that was like one of the staples of FASA,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
I think, like, for you guys, you have to emulate that as much as possible, because it's really like people who you guys have the influence, right? It's up to you, really up to you whether people decide to stay or leave. And I know a lot of people are super busy or just not really into meeting new people, especially after you've met all these amazing people in FASA already. But it's really like, if you want to see us grow more, and to get other people as invested into this as you guys are, you got to find them, and you got to make sure that they see what you see in FASA. And I think the best way to do that is to emulate, or to try and be maybe even better versions of the people that got you to join.
Yeah.
Damn, that's pretty good. I didn't think about that. I was gonna say
He's
just-
pretty good at that.
I was just gonna say have fun, but no. But I mean, honestly, like in terms of like e-board position, like people on e-board, I would say, like, yeah, put in the work, kind of like how Mark was saying, in a better way, but like because it's a team dynamic, everyone's like working together and whatnot. But at the same time, because everyone also has their own jobs, it could cause some conflict. Like, oh, why don't you do that on time? Oh, why don't you do this? Oh, let me help you out with that. But it's like not your job kind of thing. In terms of like stepping on each other's toes or whatnot. I think the biggest thing to overall look at it is just to also have fun in doing that. Have fun planning things with your friends. Because at the end of the day, you're joining a board, and hopefully you become friends with those people at a certain level, and you're able to be able to be comfortable enough to like say things to them because it's like a collaborative thing. So being able to like come up with these different ideas for not just this small group of 15 to 18 people, but it's 15 to 18 people organizing for an entire org of 40 plus people, so try not to get lost too much in like the work itself, but more so in the fun of it all. That also doesn't mean to like slack off and like be like, oh, I'm just trying to have fun. It's like, no, like still do what you're doing, but like do the work that you got to do, but don't take it all the time of your day to do it. Because I remember when I was like media specialist, as soon as I was here at an event, I would just start getting to work on an ad, like right away. So I developed so much time into that I would neglect work, like homework and whatnot. So like also don't neglect your school studies, do school studies first because you're a student first, and then you're a student organizer, right? Because there's still a student in there. So you gotta be the student first, focus on that, and then focus on organizing the club.
That's similar to like what you told me before elections, because I remember I reached out to you because I was like conflicted about like
handling a position.
Yeah, about like just signing up in general, because I was not doing good in school, and I wanted to take my sophomore year to really focus in and hone in. But like you told me that like if I go to like a GBM and just like be a general body member and see like say Ruben like recording stuff, like would I not regret it on signing up? And that's what I took to heart. And then and you said something about like balancing through our text, and which I've also been doing. So I really appreciate you, Dan. Like your words have really helped me become the historian that I am right now.
You guys are doing great.
Thank
I love
you.
it. This whole production, by the way, all them. It took an hour or so, but
Hey man,
no,
I have two hands.
Like as in it's a good production.
Oh,
That's
okay,
what I'm
okay.
I'm not roasting all that.
Oh,
It's
okay.
That was
I
so
meant, like-
backhanded.
You said
That's true.
Like,
Hey,
I
took
just-
an hour.
It's like I
It took
just
an hour.
think Dan
Hear
on
me out, bro.
Hey, go
All right,
ahead, Raph.
Hey,
Daylight
thank you, Dan.
savings.
Oh, by the way,
I think what Dan said, I agree with a lot. When I was president, I always mentioned to my board, the first thing was you're a student first, and this is just an extracurricular club.
Yes.
So always take care of yourself, your studies, and your homework first, and then worry about this. Because at the end of the day, you're paying what, like $12,000, $9,000 for knowledge here, and if you're not doing well in that, and you're spending most of your time doing FASA stuff, sorry, but you're wasting money.
Mhm.
So you always got to make sure you're doing your school first. And then my other point was, on eBoard, you guys are working with what, 12 people? So
Big
each of those
team,
people are different. There's never going to be the same person. So you're going to have 12 different personalities, 12 different, what? 16? There's 16 of y'all? 18 on a
18?
Dude, they have two of
Yeah.
everything. It's like
Oh, that's true.
it's like the Ark.
What?
They
Alright,
can-
so
That is true.
there's 18 of y'all, so there's not.
Yeah, there's two of
all
you.
those different people to be working with, all those different like work ethics and how the way they do their lives. So a conflict is gonna happen. You guys are gonna start arguing with something. Words might be said that aren't gonna be meant. So what I will say is don't take things personally, and
Too seriously.
yeah, don't take it too seriously. Like, shit happens when people get angry. They say some stuff they don't really mean to say it. At the end of the day, most of y'all should be friends. I understand you if you don't really vibe with someone, but you should still try and be just professional with them. And when they say things, just have an open mind. Like, they're probably stressed out with school, life, other shit is going on in their lives. So if something happens, just talk it out at the end. Go like have some one-on-one time with them. Say, hey, can we talk about this? Always like communicate with each other because things can happen.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it.
Well, thank you for that, guys. We really appreciate that, and we really appreciate having you guys on the podcast with us today.
Thank you guys for coming so much. This marks the end of Tank Talks. It's like hour something. Again, like really appreciate you guys taking like time out of you guys' busy schedule.
Yeah, this wouldn't be possible without you guys.
Yeah.
So when's the next one?
Oh, the next one.
When's part 2?
We
Part
should have.
two?
We should have part 2.
Part
Part
2.
two.
I'm down for
maybe
a
down
part
the
two.
line. Maybe down
I'm
the
down.
line.
I'm down for a part
Part
two.
two. Would you guys
Maybe
like,
when you guys are free.
Would you guys?
Hey, yo, we were supposed to be free last
We were
month.
free last time.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey,
You were
hey,
free.
listen.
Alright.
I have the equipment.
That's true. Hey, we could have done
Also,
Discord.
if I leave with anything, it's just a club, yo. It's just a club.
It ain't that deep.
FASA is family, but you also have a real family. You should go home on a weekend every now and then.
I do.
I know you do because you commute now.
Yeah. Yo, first it was the hour thing. Now it's the family thing.
I'm backhanding
No,
everyone.
okay. Before, like, you guys are doing stuff that we always said we wanted to do, but you like seeing you guys actually do it is like super cool.
Respect.
So, yeah, shout out
Big
you guys.
respect.
Yep.
Thank
Pat
you,
your
guys.
guys' back.